I'm just working on a track here, and we're talking again about how to make phrases. Only this time, whereas in the previous video we were talking about we had a more kind of bluesy, pentatonic sort of mood going on. This is an example of the same kind of thing of, we're talking about making phrases, but this time it's in the context of a simple major scale. And we're in D major. And we've got a chord progression recorded, which is fairly sort of, it's a fairly slow, sort of reflective mood, which is just moving around again, very simple progression of scale tone chords from D major. So we have, we've got D major, and so on. So our task is to sort of, somewhat in similar fashion to what we had with the bluesy pentatonic, is to sort of understand our material, what we've got to work with. We're in D major. Any scale tones of D major are going to be okay. Once again, we don't, if we only play scale tones, it could get a bit boring. So we probably want to introduce some variation and maybe sort of expressive measures to make it more interesting. But we're basically, we're selecting notes from and trying to create phrases which are sort of given meaning by the sort of rhythmic information that we're putting into them. So, once again, I might select a figure or I'm just trying to make up phrases, fragments of melody that feel expressive and sort of harmonious and tuneful to me, and seem sort of tasteful and appropriate to me. And of course, that is all going to come from your understanding of the guitar and of music and what you can produce. But I think certainly one of the key things for me is the kind of mood of the piece. You've got to sort of be in sympathy with the mood that you're creating, in fact, with the music. And I suppose this is it's kind of reflective, it's a little meditative, it's quite sort of slow moving piece of music, but and it's something to do, yes, I'll go with Karen, and this guy is going somewhere with this Karen woman, and we don't really know where they're going or what they're doing, but they're just kind of in our world through this music, and we're sort of using our imagination, I think, to sort of connect with the story of this guy and this woman called Karen. And so we're trying to, I think when we're making our phrases, one quite good way to think about phrase making is it's a little bit like telling a little story, about some kind of, very often some kind of imagined situation, and we're thinking about this woman and this somebody else, and the person who sort of created the tune or the song, and we're just trying to sort of imagine ourselves in some kind of scenario, and we're trying to get a kind of mood going, and the mood is going to sort of inform what we play, because we're in this sort of relatively quiet, reflective, slow-moving mood, and we're trying to sort of express that mood, and the phrases are the things we say in a musical form to create this mood. So, I hope that makes some kind of sense. Once again, it's all a question of, being sort of, being on top of the basic material that you're using. You've got to be... and you know that you can, when I'm doing this, I'm aware I can sort of play pretty much anything that is a scale tone of D major. I can do quite a lot just staying in this position, or of course I think with this piece I got quite attached to this little thing. Which is actually like a kind of A major triad. Played over the D major vibe of the tune. So I hope that helps you to sort of get perhaps another kind of insight into this idea of sort of working in this way, working with these little snippets of melody, I suppose you could call them, I tend to prefer fragments, like melodic fragments that we can play and which are attractive and enjoyable for the listener, and which we can create in a sort of fairly free way, really. I mean, we've got sort of carte blanche to do this. So I hope that's intelligible and helpful. I'm just going to play out now over the tune, and once again, if you can, just listen to the mood, listen to what I'm playing, and just sort of understand that really, from my perspective, the whole thing is just primarily playing scale tones of D major, and sort of responding to this kind of chord progression as it sort of rolls along, and it sort of gives me ideas of what to play. And the hope is that what we're going to end up with is something, we might something like this might make a number of iterations over it, might make a number of passes over it, and we might gradually come up with other ideas might appear, and we might sort of settle on particular things. I mean, like that little motif. That sort of really appealed to me. And so I sort of stuck to that on the original version. But, really for you to sort of appreciate that, we've got this kind of very sort of loose, open structure where, and what I'm really aiming for is a situation where I can do this, where I can sort of easily respond to the material and hopefully try to create something nice with the guitar, and that's really what we're aiming to do. Okay, so once again, thanks so much for watching and listening, and I'll play a little bit more of Karen now, and hope to see you again soon on the next one.